Yeah, hello everyone. This is Ishan here. I am doing a re-recording of the second part of this yesterday's session of session 3. The reason is while uh, the software from which I am recording right now, uh, after 1 hour, it was showing some error and you were able to hear only the audio, not the video. So to fix it, that I am again doing it, again re-recording the second half of the session. So apologize for any inconvenience, and someone who has asked the question second session and I will answer that at that point of time. It will not be covered in this part. I will just try to code again explain what I have done in the last 1 hour of that session 3, and I try to cover everything that I have done in the last few 1 hour, last 1 hour, yes, in the for the session 3. Okay, with that being said, uh, so from the session 3, what we have done is we started with the classes challenge exercise, where we have given a class, set of class bank details and all that. I have to create a bank account, and I have to based on uh, like the requirement, I have to create a class accordingly. So let's start with that. So I have to create a bank account. I have to create fields for account characteristic like account number, balance, customer name, email, phone number, and then I have to create a getter and setter for each field. And on top of those two, I have to use one method for deposit funds into the account and one for withdrawing funds from the account, right? And then follow, there are few more things are there. We will take it step by step. So first let's do these two aspects: create the fields and create the methods, getter, setter, and two additional methods. So actually I have already coded it in account.java, for which you will get this code as it is. But now again, since I'm re-recording it, I will again create a new file, and again I'm going to type it out. So I'm creating a new Java class and I'm naming it as bank account. Okay, so it's a public class, bank account, and the first thing I have to create is account number, account balance, customer name, email, and phone number. Okay, so let me create that. So let me define the fields. So these are the fields, and private, uh, so it's I have account number, so I am giving private int, in this case private int account number, then private double account balance, and then uh, private string customer name, private long phone number, because in int case phone number is usually a 10 number digit and int can't take such big values, so that's why we're taking long. And then last is email, so which is also a string, so private string email. Now we have to create getter and setter function. So usually we have to type it manually, so I will just write, I will show for one, public void, uh, I will use for get, so get account number. So I will just write it, so I have to get it, so I will just return the value directly. So uh, account number. So sorry, I should not keep it void, I should keep it int in this case. Okay, so likewise I have to create for others. This is a getter function, so I will create for an setter function as well. For here I'm directly doing it. So what I'm doing, I'm using the IntelliJ IDEA. In that I have a I will go to code option, there are the option of generate. I will select getter and setter, so I will do for all and then it will create it. So set account number, get account balance, set account balance, get customer name, set customer name, get phone number. So all of this bean has been done automatically. I have done it because I don't have to type so long things, a minimal thing, but in your case it's better for you to write it down just that you get a hands-on experience. Once you get habitual to it, you know that this is not big thing where you will get any wrong. You get any wrong at that point of time, you can use such kind of features. Obviously in an exam you will not get, you will not get this kind of feature in your editor. Okay, now getter setter is done. Then there's a two more function, that is depositing fund and withdrawing fund from the account. So let's do that. So let me define it first. So public void uh, depositing funds. Okay, so depositing fund, and I'm keeping double as money. I have to deposit some money in my account, so for that I am doing. So let me first define the only the body of that uh, method. So that is public void depositing, and this is public void withdrawing funds double money. Okay, now let's see what it's there. So in this thing, so they are defining much more in challenge exercises. So the customer should not be allowed to withdraw funds if that withdrawal takes their balance to negative. Okay, and then I have to create a new project called classes challenge with usual main class with usual main method. You will create an instance of an account class and then test your withdraw and deposit methods. You will print information to the console and confirm that what is the balance after methods are called. So let's do this. So I have to first tell it that I have to print, first I have to do add the money in the account. So I will add account balance plus equal to money. So if it is, I'm doing for deposit, so obviously the this value will be increased. So I can write system dot out dot println and account balance before deposit. So if I just do this, and I will okay, I should write this dot account balance, and then I will add the money to the account balance, and then I will print it out, system dot out println. So I will just write maybe I will write it as rupees plus money plus has been deposited tot updated balance is plus this dot account balance. Okay, so I just printed out the money in the account balance. That is pretty fine. For withdrawing funds, we have to do provide certain logic. That is, it has to check that whether if I'm subtracting the money from the from my account, whether it will, if it gives me the negative value, that means I should not withdraw that amount. Okay, so I will just say like I'll just put a if condition. So if this dot account balance minus money is less than 0, so I'm putting the condition that even is equal to 0, that is fine, but if it is less than 0 we can't take it out. So I'll just put system dot out dot println, and I'll print out you cannot withdraw the money, okay, because your account balance will become negative, something like that. Okay, closed. Else if it is like this, yes, you can withdraw the amount, then you can just put, first you have to change the account balance. So you just write account balance minus equal to money, and you just print it out, the statement that println money has been withdrawn, current balances plus this dot account balance. So I will just say one thing, that rupees money, rupees 4,000 money has been withdrawn, just like that, and just print it out. Okay, everything is work. I think this should work pretty fine, and I have to create a class challenge. So I have already a class challenge file name, so I will put classes challenge as a new file. So let me write that down as well. So classes challenge. Okay, so here I will create an object for bank account. So let me create that. So bank account, let's say account 1 and new bank account. Okay, so I've created the account, and since I haven't initialized anything for this value, so let me assign certain values to them using set and get function. Okay, so for this, if to do that set and get function, mostly I have to do set, because get here I don't need. Okay, so what I can do is I will just write account1 dot set account number. I think it should work. What is the first thing? Set account number. Set account number, and I will just put like 4 5 something like this. Okay, I have to put in public static void main that I haven't added, so let me add that first. Public static void main, and yeah, now I think it should work fine. Set account balance, so let me write like maybe 10,000. Then account1 dot set customer name, so let me write like my name itself, Ishan, and account1 dot set phone number. So it's a long number, so I will just write 10 digits, something like this, 512, and since it's a long number I have to put L at the back. Okay, and account1 dot set email, and just write like yes@xyz.com. Okay, perfect, this is happening. And now we have to call deposit amount, so let's me call account1 dot deposit funds, and I will adding maybe 4,000 money out of this, and account I will have to withdraw this also, so I'm putting deposit 2, and I'm maybe extracting 8,000 from it. Okay, so let me run this and let's see what will happen. It will take some time. Okay, so we have done with this, and another aspect that we have already covered, but so you want to make this class encapsulated. It is there because we have both fields as well as methods into this. Okay, so we have to make all attribute private. We have done that. We have two behavioral methods, that is deposit and withdrawing funds. We have done that. We have in main class, as a main method, we have one instance of bank account class, and we are stimulating the functioning of depositing and withdrawing the money. Okay, so the so it's working now. So account balance before deposit 1,000, that is how default we have done. 4,000 rupees has been deposited, so final balance is 14,000. And for oh sorry, I should have done wrong. I should have withdraw funds, not deposit funds. So withdrawing funds. So deposit funds are working fine. Let's see the 8,000. So let me run here again. So 14 minus 8 is 6000. So ideally the final after withdrawing it should have 6000. It's working fine. Let me try 15,000. It should give negative value, so ideally it should print that I can't withdraw. So let's see. You can withdraw them in because your account balance become negative. Perfect. Okay, so all this is fine. Very well. It can easily be done. You can try it out yourself also. The PDF will be shared in the link uh, or in the material section as well. Now, interesting part that we have to see is that it is becoming a little bit cumbersome, right? That I have to set account number, balance, customer name. I have to set function a lot of times to do such stuff, right? Can I make it much more simpler? Can I make it much more easier, cleaner in this case, right? How should I do that? So for this, if I'm dealing with such few examples, because these are test cases, toy cases here, and I have to put if I have to create new values, I have to put again this same kind of line with new object, and then I have to define new different variables, kind of like that. To solve this, constructor is there. So constructors in a class is present. So what it does is it create a constructor is created when an object is created. So that means right now when bank account one object is created for bank account, a constructor also created. That is not seen right now because if it is because we haven't defined explicitly, so that is called it as default constructor. Okay. Now it is a special type of block which has a specific name and parameter, much like a method. So it is a method, but the only difference is it doesn't have a return type, as well as it doesn't it doesn't have a return type, and its name is same as class name. No other method can have same as class name, only a constructor can have it as a class name. So if you can see a sample of it, so for account, public class account, you can, if you want to create a constructor, a public account will become like that. So let's create that as well. So in bank account, let's create constructor first. So let me create first default constructor. Default constructor is the one which implicitly created by Java if you don't make it explicit, right? So I will have to, and another thing, constructor has to be public, you can't make it private, it will give some error, okay? Because object has been created, Java needs to first look at whether we have defined certain kind of constructor or not, right? So for that case, we have to make it public. So now my bank name is bank account, and I'm not passing any argument, and just print it out that this is a default constructor. It is invoked just after creation of the object. Okay, so let's test this out. So in classes challenge, I have one bank account one. So let's see, and bank account account 2 equal to new bank account. Okay, so I have created two objects, so ideally it should print this statement twice. So let's see whether it will do or not, and rest of the thing we are keeping as it is. Okay, so the first line is correct, so I think I should put some println in this case rather than print. Okay, that's fine. So what output says, this is a default constructor, it is invoked just after creation of the object. That is happening for account 1 object. Now for account 2 also, this is a default constructor, it is invoked just after creation of the object. So as we can see, this is a default constructor. Java usually create, it doesn't need to add to the code, it just implicitly have it in its while doing compilation, but we have make it more explicit in this case. Okay, so this is one type of constructor, this is called default constructor, and so as I say, it doesn't have any parameter, often called as nor are constructor. If a class contain any other constructor declaration, then default constructor is not implicitly declared. Okay, so that is one thing. So what do you mean by any other class constructor declaration? So let's look at that. So So what is any other class constructor declaration? So any other constructor declaration in this case will be it has the parameters. So if I write public bank account and I pass all the variables which is present here, that means int account, sorry, I will go by order wise, account number, double account balance, string customer name, string long phone number and string email. So this is called as parameterized constructor. So let me, for better readability, I will just do this. This is called as parameterized constructor. Okay, because we have provided the parameter. Okay, so what, once we have this, I have to assign whatever the value has been passed from there. I have to assign it here, right? So how should I do it? So I will just write this account number equal to account number. Okay, so I think in the first part of the session I have told you why this is important. In this case, it tells that this will assign the values whatever I'm providing, even though it has same name as our class variables. These are local variables, the one we are passing through, the highlighted one. These are passed through the parameters passed through while creating the object, right? So these are considered as local variables, and the one where we want to store our values, it is considered as a class variables. So for class variables, to mention it, to differentiate it between different objects, we have to use this mark. So again, let me complete this part where I'm assigning whatever the value passed from the string. So string customer name equal to, okay, sorry, not string, I should write this, and I have to write customer name, then this phone number equal to phone number. Okay, and this email equal to email. Okay, now once we have done this, somebody will ask whether we want to use same variable, some other name. It's your own choice. You can have some different names as well, but in practice, since it's a constructor, people use the same name as a class variable because we know what's the purpose of the constructor is, right? So it is for initializing the class variable through the object. So that's why people keep it as same as how it is. Okay, so this is a parameterized constructor, and this, if we try to so what is the advantage now? Now I have written 5 lines of code to set account number, balance, customer name, email, kind of like that, right? So what I will do right now is I'll just type the same thing in in account 2. So I will create some new account number. I will add 15,000 as account balance. I will add some name of the customer, then I have to add phone number, 10 digit. I think it's more than 10 digit, so L, and then finally I will add it as email as some.com, something like that. Okay, so this is how I'm defining it. And if I have to deposit some money, so account 2, let's say depositing funds, and I'm adding, let's say, 9,000 in this, and if I run this, let's see what will happen. Okay, so I haven't tell that this is a parameterized constructor here, so let me write that system.out.println, and this is the parameterized constructor. So the reason I want to have this here, because after account 2, because it's a parameterized constructor, it will invoke this, and we should know that is coming from here. So answer is correct. Deposit was 15,000, coming 24,000. right? But we have to show it, I have to convince you that it is the from classes the account who is accessing this constructor, the highlighting one, not the above one, the default one, right? So since I'm passing the parameters, it will access this one only. Okay, so this is called as constructor overloading because we have two constructors, but as method overloading, they have same name but different number of parameters and different order as well. Okay, so let me run it again one more time. So yeah, so once after this line number 12 has been created, it's saying that this is a parameterized constructor, and then it is doing the deposit funds operation. Okay, perfect. So this is working pretty much fine. And what we say construct overloading. So constructor overloading is declaring multiple constructor with different formal parameters. So the one that we have done here in bank account, that is public bank account one, is a one constructor, and public bank account with parameters is another constructor. Okay, the number of parameters between can be different between constructors, or if the number of parameters is same between two constructors, their type or order of the types must differ. Okay, so let's see any other different constructor that we can do. Okay, and from here we try to have the concept of constructor chaining in this part. So what do you mean by constructor chaining and how we can use it in constructor overloading? Let's see that. So let me construct bank account, and so same as bank account, and then what I will do, instead of having all parameters, I will just have it my account number, balance, and customer name, or let's say account number, balance only. Rest of the thing I'm not passing it out. So what I should do, int account number, double account balance. Okay, these are the only two things I'm getting from the constructor. Okay, but I have only this value, right? So I have to provide certain defined default value to the other things as well, right? So how should I do this? So there are two ways to it. One way is I just write this account balance is equal to account balance, and this account number is equal to account number. Okay, and this customer name is equal to, let's say, Rahul. I'm providing another thing. So this email is equal to yahoo.in, and this phone number is equal to some random 10-digit number. Okay, this is one way to do it. It will work also pretty fine, though there's another way to it as well. So this is, let's say, as method 1, right? Another method is constructor chaining. That means I will call another constructor where I can assign all the values directly. So this is also very cumbersome, right, to write 5 lines of code. So to reduce that, I will call another constructor, maybe basically this constructor where I have passed all the parameters constructor. Okay, so how to do that? So I have to do it using method 2. Okay, and I have to use this word. So the reason if I have to use constructor chaining, I have to use this keyword as a function from where it will go to parameterize. Okay, and it has to be first line of the code, executable code. Okay, so I will just part account number, account balance, then Rahul, then let me pass this value as well, and Rahul at yahoo.in. Okay, so what this method 2 will do, I will just comment on method 1 right now. It will work pretty fine, you can try it out. But method 2, what it will do, it will use something called constructor chaining. Okay, so this using this keyword as a function, you will pass account number, balance, and rest of thing as hard coded, and this value will go directly to this back constructor where all the values will be assigned directly. Okay, so let's see it here. So construct chaining is one of the constructor activity calls another overloaded constructor. You can call a constructor only from another constructor only. So that is another point. You must use a special statement this with parenthesis to execute another constructor passing if it arguments if required, and this must be the first executable statement if it's used from another constructor. Okay, so let's run this part, and for this, to do this, I will create another object, that is bank account 3, and I will just pass new bank account, and I will just pass new account number. So let's say, and some balance like 5,000. Okay, and what I will do is to know that this is a third bank parameterized type, so I will just print it out, system dot out dot print ln, and I will just print it out as this is a second parameterized constructor using this function as a constructor chaining. Okay, so we will know now whether account 3 will work perfectly fine or not. So let me run this classes challenge. Okay, so I have a bank account, this everything is work fine now. Now once I created this bank account thing, account 3 as an object, so it will print it as two statements. First, this is a parameterized constructor. Why? Because I am calling the using this constructor of sorry, not challenge here, bank account. So here after bank account, this constructor, the third constructor that I am having, I am calling this method. So from this method, it was going to the second parameterized constructor. I am highlighting it right now, the highlighted one. So here it is, after assigning all the values, it is calling parameterized constructor, and when this is over, it will come back and then it will print this second statement, that is this is second parameterized constructor using this function. So this is how it is printing. Okay, so this is the concept of parameter constructor chaining. Okay, and you can utilize it a lot of times in this case. Okay, now apart from this, this is a constructor exercise challenge which you can try it out on your own. If you have any problem with respect to, you can let me know. So what you have to do is create a new class called customer with 3 fields, that is new class with 3 fields, and then you have to create only getter methods, no setter methods, and then you have to create 3 constructors. So there are 3 constructors defined in 3 different ways. That is, one is default constructor, second is with all the fields you should assign the value directly to the instances field, and then create a constructor with name and email parameters. Okay, and how it works. So let's try it out. If you have any question or doubt with respect to it, we will try to fixate it obviously. Okay, now with that being said, let's look at the last part that we have discussed in the yesterday's session, or the session 3. So here it just talks about the differences between references, object, instances, and class. So we use this terminology a lot during this session, and we have to understand it where we are using the word called reference, where we should use the word of object or instances, and class. Okay, so from class is a blueprint. From the class we will say object is created, right? So object is basically instantiating a class. That's the word we use a lot, and also the object and instances are interchangeable terms. Okay, they are very interchangeable terms, so that will be much more clear that our object has its own different kind of values, as we have seen object 1, 2 and 3 in classes challenge. We have defined differently and they have their own set of data, right? So these are the instantiated class. That's how the term has been used. But class is again is a blueprint, and object is as a whole using the fields and methods to utilize the blueprint. Okay, and instance is just another name for a class. So we'll say we have created an instances of a class. That means it means we have created an object of the class. Now, to understand a reference, let's use the analogy of building a house. Okay, so it's basically a blueprint of the house. A class is a blueprint of the house, right? Same like architectural design that we are having, and then from the blueprint we can create as many houses as we want based on that plan, right? But uh, once a house is created, that house has its own existence, right? It has a separate existence, and that existence that we're telling as an object. Each object is different, even though you have the same values. Still, they will have in a different location, memory location. So that it has its own existence. Okay. Now it also called as instance, and each house has its physical location. Similarly, to differentiate that, okay, if two houses built at same, we can still differentiate them based on this physical location, based on certain address. Similarly, in in objects as an object also, they have, even though you might have same designs or same functionalities and same values, it has been differentiated with the help of memory. Okay, and that the pointing of the memory, that is the name of the object, that's like the name of the house is a differentiating factor. Similarly, name of the object, which we name it as reference, is the one who separates two objects together. Okay, so let's see for an example. So public class house is the one where we have a private string called color. Okay, and then we have a getter function. So we have a constructor where we are assigning the color to that color class, and then we have a string called get color, that is get function, and the set function. Okay, in main function, let's look at step by step, where we are assigning different values of house, that is the name of the house. Here we are defining with the color of the house. So with different color of the house, we are trying to see what is our object, what is the reference in this case. Okay, so let's look at the first line. House blue house is equal to new house. So it is telling that house is of color blue. So it is created an object of house blue in the memory, and the blue house is called as a reference, which is the name of the as a reference, which is pointing to that object where the value blue has been stored, right? Then there's another house as a variable we have used, and we are equated with blue house. So what here it created as another reference. That means it is pointing to the same memory, this is same object type of house with color blue, but we have given another name which is called as another house. Okay, now we have two references and one object in this case, and now once we try to print it, both will print the same output because both the references pointed to same memory location, in this case the memory location of the object. Now what you try to do is, using the reference of another house, you try to change the color of the house. Okay, now from blue you want to change it to yellow. Now interestingly, since both the blue house and another house point to the same location, if you try to print out, then it will also both will print out the yellow location only. You can try it out while typing code in your editor, you will find the same output. Now let's do some interesting stuff. Let's create a new object here. So now just a minute. Yeah, so I will create a new object here, and with where the house of the color of the house is green. Okay, now what we are doing is the another house that we are creating as a reference, which was there for blue house, now we shift that from blue house to the green house. Okay, now it is pointing to the green house. So the blue house earlier that we have created was now changed to yellow. It was there because of the earlier statement. Now another house is pointing to green house. So if you try to print it out, in this case it will be printing it out as yellow for the blue house, green house will be green because it has been defined like that, another house also as a green. So we have a 3 reference variable and 2 object variable. Okay, so 2 objects with a memory location, and the three reference variable, blue house, another house, greenhouse, pointing to a respective object locations. Okay, so that is the difference between reference and object in this case. Okay, this is again the reference versus object different in a different way. So the first line, let's say we have 3 lines of code. That is first line, house, we are creating a new object called house, but we haven't provided any reference to it. That is, we are not providing any object name to it. In second, we have created a new house with beige color, but now we have assigned a value called assign a variable name my house, which will act as a reference to the house called beige, object where the color of the house is beige. Similarly, red house, which is a reference to the object where the value of that color is red in this case. Okay, so if you try to create it, the object will create in memory, but after the assignment, after the statement complete, we don't have any way to access it, so the object will be removed by the garbage collector. Okay, since we didn't create a reference to it. Here since we have created my house as a reference, so whenever we want, we can access that memory where the house color is beige with the help of my house. Okay, now similarly, same for the red house again. Red house is the memory location that we have created, and reference we have created, which is pointing to the house with color red. Okay, now the statement that in which we are creating another house object memory which has no relation to the one we are creating in the first line. Okay, so the first and second line are not related, so we can't access it. So now in this 3 statement, even though we try to create 3 objects, we have only two references, that is my house and red house. The first line, even though we create an object, we can't access it, so it will be deleted automatically. So we have 2 references and 2 objects. Okay, the reason I've just showed you is because just to let you know the fact that this is how also sometimes people use it, but almost 100%, 99 to 100% time people use the way we have defined line number 2 and 3. Okay, but I will try to show a case where this line number 1 might also be useful at certain point of time. Okay, so yeah, so this is the overview of the second part of the session that we have discussed for the session 3, and because a certain issue of recording issue, we are not able to capture that last 1 hour of thing, which I try to cover it through this aspect. Okay, so with that being said, I'm ending the session here, and I will combine both the first hour of the session 1 and this current re-recording and merge it, and I will provide you all the relevant Java code files with it. Okay, with that being said, thank you everyone for coming.